Hi guys. I just wanted to make a video explaining how I make my realistic pieces. And I haven't really made much of them. I've only made about 15 of them ever. But I think this one is the most realistic one I've done, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to make a video explaining my process since I have the speed paint. So, the first thing I do usually is I'll get a reference. I can't really do super realistic stuff like this from imagination. Um, a lot of people can't. So, my subject is Hans Gruber from Die Hard. I love him. He's my little pretty princess. And the first thing I do is trace over um, the picture of him. You can't see it in the speed paint because it's a private photo. It's a feature in Procreate, but um, I'll do that first, and I'll try simplifying things a bit. I don't draw like every single detail on his face because it just kind of looks bad in line art, and I save the details for the actual rendering. Um, and then I'll color pick from the image. I'll pick like the midtones of the image for the flat colors, and then I'll start like blocking in the shadows first, uh, and then I just kind of like work my way from there. Like, I get the big shadows out first, and then I just kind of like I kind of just build it up. And it takes a long time. This drawing took me like 3 hours, nearly 4 hours. Um, but just looking at the reference and color picking is really important and it makes it really easy. Like I feel like these are just easy for me. I feel like a lot of people could do this easily, probably better than me. But um, for the brush I use, I always use like a textured like painterly brush. I never ever use like a hard brush or like a smooth brush or anything like that. And I don't use a blender. I just use brushes that blend by themselves. I just find that to be easier. And I just work section by section. Like I spent like 2 hours on the skin alone, and then the hair, and then the suit. And I think the hair was actually the most difficult part. I don't use just one brush, but I mainly use one brush, but I use like a few other ones like for the line art. Um, and like certain things, like sometimes I'll use an airbrush just to smooth the transitions out a little bit, but I would not mainly rely on an airbrush because it'll take away the texture. And personally, I like my drawings to look textured, and the I like that you could see the brush strokes. Um, and eventually, as the drawing goes on, I paint over or erase the line art because I think the line art being on the face, it kind of it makes it look a little too. It doesn't make it look realistic as it can be. So later on, I just like erase it. It's more of just like a guide of anything. Um, and I mean, I don't feel like this is that difficult. It just takes patience, and you have to trust the process. Really, like that's the most important thing. You just have to trust the process because you could probably see that like, the drawing becomes more and more realistic as the speed paint goes on, and during the line art stage especially, it doesn't look that good, and it doesn't look believable, and it looks completely different once the drawing is finished. So yeah, I don't know, those are just some of my tips, because realism seems intimidating, but it's not. Like, it's kind of easy once you get the hang of it. I mean, like, I would say the main takeaways from this video are: use a reference and color pick from it, block out the detail, like, block out the main shapes, the main colors, and just work your way from there. I don't know if this is actually going to help anyone, but I don't know. I hope you get something from this.